Uh, I'm in San Francisco. Ladies and gentlefish, one of the most interesting emails I've ever received in my life. Somehow, some way, I was fortunate enough to get an email about a month ago, and I didn't even know that DoorDash knew I existed. Up until about a month ago. I thought I was just a boy in my car filming my dashes. And yeah, they flew us out to San Francisco to go to the headquarters as part of their first ever Dasher Roundtable. It was a good group of creators. There were some Dashers there as well, part of their Dash Route programs. You know, there was some women next to me that were from Chicago. There was another lady from Erie, Pennsylvania. You know, Mike, your driver Mike, was there. He's from Pittsburgh. We had DoorDash Diaries from North Carolina, Dasher Phil from Texas. So it was like a large group of people from around the country, different experiences. Like the woman next to me who was from Chicago, she has over 13,000 shopper orders. So it was cool to hear like the different stories and just everyone's overall experiences. And before I even get into talking about the whole thing, if you think, you know, we all just walked in that room, DoorDash talked to us about stuff and we all applauded them and said, you know, we love you, you're the greatest ever. No, that's not at all what happened. And if you think any of us from this point forward are going to come out and just be like, yes, DoorDash is the greatest thing ever, we applaud you, no. For all of us to speak our minds and not only what we have experienced as Dashers and creators, but what you guys commenting, mentioning, you know, tagging me and stuff, experiences, and just valuable experience to be able to go in there and talk to the employees and say, you know, here's what, you know, we feel, here's our questions, comments, and concerns about certain things. And they listened. They were very kind. They were very, you know, generous for being able to give us this experience. So again, I'm beyond grateful for DoorDash for doing this. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. At first, when I read it, I was like, yeah, that's got to be a scam, right? You're gonna fly me out to San Francisco? Yeah, sure. That's a scam. That's a scam. It was not a scam. You get that opportunity, you do not let that slip away. But yeah, I've been 100% transparent about everything that I do with these apps, whether it's my numbers, you know, in mileage, my hours, my earnings, everything has been 100% transparent, real, authentic. So yes, as blessed as I am and as much as I loved my experience with DoorDash, I'm not going to change the way I talk about things. I'm not going to just, you know, applaud everything that they do. You know, I'm going to keep it 100% real, and I think that's what they want. They want us to be 100% real with them. You know, one of the biggest things we talked about, and I brought it up in many situations, it's actually pretty much how I have all of my contract violations, 3 by the way, were all because I was late to a delivery due to traffic or an error at the store. So that was a big thing that came up, was the on-time rating. Let's just go to the beginning where we started off in San Francisco. I flew from Philadelphia at 6 p.m. I was supposed to fly out at 6 a.m., but I wasn't able to get out until 6 p.m. Unfortunately, just due to all of the restrictions. I'm going to change to the 6 p.m. flight before the 6 a.m. flight gets canceled. And sure enough, everything was smooth. Landed in San Francisco, got to the hotel. I was able to talk to your Dasher Mike and Dasher Phil. They were in the lobby. So that was cool to get to experience that. You know, I've watched a lot of their videos. I've messaged them, you know, whether it was through YouTube or email. So to get to talk to them in real time, face-to-face, not through a digital screen, was pretty cool. And yeah, I hit the hay, woke up the next morning, hit the gym, walked around San Francisco to go get myself a nice smoothie. And then all of a sudden I was like, I think I kind of like this city. It's nice. You know, I could see myself waking up, getting a smoothie before work, then grinding out some workout here. And then I get to the smoothie place. I'm like, wow, this is a really nice smoothie place. They got great options. Yeah, then I get the bill and it's $17 for a smoothie. I said, you know what? I think I'm okay not coming back to California, and I think I'm okay not living in a city. $17 for a smoothie absolutely blew my socks off. It was a good smoothie though. Then after that, I got my fancy clothes, which you guys have never seen me in fancy clothes, so this is probably shocking. But we got this swag bag as well. I don't really know if they called it a swag bag. I feel like I heard someone say that, but now I'm not really sure, and I feel kind of weird saying it. We got a goodie bag, and it had this cool hat in it, which I will probably be rocking every now and then because it's pretty cool. A little DoorDash notebook so I can keep a diary like a 14-year-old girl. I actually walked into the room, I saw the bag, and I was like, do I tell the front desk that's the last guest forgot a bag here? Because I've never, had an opportunity like this. I've never been invited to anything, never been I should say I've never been invited to any event like this. That just makes me sound like I've never been invited to just, anything at all. That would be really, really horrible. Never been invited to an event like this, so it was just something I had no clue. That I would walk in and I see a bag, I'm like, oh, that's got to be the past guest. That can't be here on purpose, right? We go down to the lobby. It's like 9:50 a.m. I get to chat with some of the creators there. It was just such a cool experience. The whole outlook we were looking for throughout this entire day was, what can we do as Dashers to help the community? That was like the main focus, was how can we walk in basically to the belly of the beast, DoorDash headquarters, which we did around 10 a.m. We all walked in together. How can we go into this beautiful headquarters and how can we make a difference? How can we do the best that we can to help the most amount of people? I didn't want to just walk in there, say, oh, everything's great, because it's not. There's some great things about the app, I will say. There's some great things. I do love the flexibility. I always say, I've said it for years, that I genuinely do like DoorDashing because it's something that is flexible. Is it the greatest app on earth? No. Is it the worst thing that this planet has ever seen? No, it's not. It's flexible, it's great. I've always liked the app, but I've always known that there are a lot of issues that need to be fixed, and it's not perfect. It's never going to be 100% perfect. The Dasher rewards and all that, we wanted to get as much feedback to them as possible. They had like 40 slides of things that they wanted to talk about. I think we got through maybe a quarter of them. That was like the first thing we did after we had breakfast there. We really got to talk, and we did not get through a lot because we were providing a lot of feedback on things. So that was just something that was really cool, was they just let us talk. They didn't interrupt us and say, well, you got to stop. No, we don't have time for that. No, everyone there was very kind, felt very genuine. They weren't just like putting on a fake smile and saying, hey, thank you for coming out here, now you have to talk great about our app. No, it is to figure out how we can help each other, how we can help make this app better for Dashers. And that's what I hope comes out of this. It's like, hey, here are the things that are working, and here are the things that are definitely not working, and we're not okay with that. So I hope this event expands and it gets bigger, bring in different people and see what they have to say. It wasn't coming in with hostility, it wasn't coming in with anger. We're not just screaming in their face like la 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 la. Nothing's gonna ever get solved that way if you come in there with hostility. We came in there with like, hey, there's some things we're frustrated with. There's some things we like about the app, but unfortunately there are some things that are screwing with us. And they were open to that. We had an open, genuine discussion, just a very back and forth. We kind of dominated the conversation, just like they would come out with the new thing. They would talk about something that, they're looking forward to or something they've done recently. And they just let us go, let us talk about it, do all that fun stuff. And then the interesting part came when Tony Shu came in, and that was something I never in a million years would think I would cross paths with the CEO of DoorDash, Tony Shu. I can genuinely say I was surprised. He was supposed to come in for a half hour and talk to us. We talked a lot during that presentation. We got to talk directly to him. It wasn't even a presentation. He just came in and talked to us, and we had an open discussion, and we talked a lot directly to him, gave us suggestions. Why are we driving 10 plus miles? Why is that a possibility? Why is the suggested tip 5%? He stayed for an hour. He ended up staying about 25-30 minutes after the time that he came in for. He talked one-on-one with some of us. I didn't get to talk to him, unfortunately. I let some other people talk to him, some Dashers that were there and a few creators. They were talking a lot of points during it, so I wanted to make sure that they directly got that to him, instead of me just talking in there and be like, wow, this is so cool. Thanks for inviting me. Blah, 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 blah. But, oh my gosh, I hate the 10+ mile order. I let the other people, they seemed to have some really good points that they were talking about beforehand, so I wanted to let them speak to him directly. And yeah, I thought, 30 minutes would be up. He'd be out of there. Okay, and then he shook all of our hands and said goodbye. So that was a really cool experience. I didn't expect him to be that cool, open, what felt genuinely honest. Then we had some lunch. We talked some more. Then the fun part where we went pretty much a live dash with one of the employees. So I got paired up with Nova. I'll tag his channel down below. We went on a dash with one of the employees, and that was just a really cool experience because we got to dash in San Francisco, which is probably something I would have never done. And now after doing it, that is something I will never do again because the parking is atrocious. The traffic is atrocious. So if you're dashing in San Francisco, I would say use a scooter. But yeah, it was a really cool experience. We got a $10.50 for like 3.2 mile order. We went to this ghost kitchen. It was pretty cool. You just scan the phone and it opens up to a locker and you go and grab your food. We had like a chicken order that smelled delicious. Then we drove like 2 miles that took 19 minutes. In my market, this entire order would have taken 15 minutes. In San Francisco, it took 26 minutes. And then you had to drive like 20 minutes back to the headquarters. So it was a nightmare. I don't even know if we would have been able to do it by ourselves because we had to park in like such weird places that if we left the car, by itself, like if one person was driving, left their car there, I don't know what would have happened to it. A ticket, someone steals it, or someone gets pissed off at it. And yeah, then after that, we went out to dinner. Again, that was awesome. They took us out to dinner. It was like a 5-course meal or something like that. And all of the dishes were Italian dishes and had cheese in it. And I was the only one at the table that had lactose intolerance. I know, lactose boy, laugh it up. So all of like the shareables, it was basically 4 people got 1 plate to share. And it was like a decently large size plate. And then you had a bunch of other courses. Every single plate that brought out as a shareable, they just brought it out for me with no cheese. So here I was eating basically 6 meals that are built for 4. And I'm eating them as one. So I was feeling good, but I was stuffed. And then I got a drink, and it was the girliest looking drink at the table, but I don't care. It was delicious, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. After that, we went to another place, got some dessert. I got another drink because why not? I'm in San Fran, baby. And then, yeah, we headed home, called it a day, basically, and I flew home the next morning, and, yeah, landed safely home about 5 p.m. My flight was at 8 a.m. I landed back at 5 p.m. with the layover back in Philly. Yeah, just overall, just an incredible experience to be a part of. And, if anyone feels like there's some sort of negativity they feel towards like this being a thing, the fact that we got to speak our voice directly with employees and with the CEO, it was just an overall really good experience. And I really hope there is some good that comes out of it for us Dashers. We deserve what's right. And, a lot of people do have concerns and things that they suggest that just unfortunately won't work. But I am beyond grateful for DoorDash. I didn't even know they knew I existed. And now I went to their headquarters. That's just something I never, ever in a million years thought I would ever say. But someone did ask if Tony Shu had seen any of our videos, and he said a big fat no. He's like, I don't actually watch any content at all. It was really just cool. It wasn't just creators, it was other Dashers. It wasn't just guys, there was men and women there. So it was really good experience. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for you guys for liking my content, subscribing, engaging with it, dropping comments, sharing it, whatever you may do to engage with my content, whether you're just watching it all the way through, drop a like and head out. Whether you're just watching 5 minutes of my video and you're like, you know what, I kind of like him, I'll subscribe. That means the world to me. You are the reason I got here. Without you, I would not have had this opportunity. I would not have been fortunate enough to get an invite out here. So without you guys, none of this would have been possible. So a huge thanks to you, a huge thanks to DoorDash. Like I said, nothing is going to change out of this for me personally. Just because I went to the headquarters, it's not like I'm going to applaud everything that DoorDash does from now on. It's going to be open, it's going to be honest, just like it always has been, and that's how they want it. They want it to be open, they want it to be honest, they want people to speak how they feel, because that can only make them improve the app overall. So hopefully a lot of good comes out of this. Hopefully there's some events in the future where more of us are able to go out, more of us can speak our minds, and if there's any new features, we can all talk about it and really make a difference in the community for Dashers. So without further ado, thank you very much. Drop a like. I will see you Thursday for a 24-hour challenge where I absolutely lose my brain and sanity. So bye. Oh, was not expecting that.